Good day and welcome to session 4 of Mktg 305. We are interested in how to create customer value through segmentation, targeting, and positioning. In this section, you will get to understand that the marketplace is made of people with diverse wants, interests, preferences, and also that marketers may not be able to always satisfy all people or groups in the marketplace. What then do prudent marketers do in situations like this? Marketers typically look at their peculiar circumstances and select sections or segments of the market that they can better serve based on their resources and their set company objectives. The segments of the market that the marketer wants to sell his products and services to become the target market that the marketer's offer or marketing mix is directed at. By way of session outline, we'll attempt an overview of market segmentation. We'll look at the process of market segmentation, and then we'll also look at market segmentation in consumer markets. The issue of target marketing strategies, we'll explore that, and we'll end by looking at positioning strategies in consumer markets. Again, like in previous sections, I expect students to read the chapter on market segmentation, targeting, and positioning of the text listed at the end of the slides. Where it becomes necessary, we'll direct students to other reading materials via Sakai. An overview. When marketers study consumer behavior, they are not only interested in individual consumers, but most importantly, group of individual consumers who are likely to exhibit similarity or homogeneity in their consumption behavior. Of course, this is in reference to the key questions of what consumers will buy, why they buy, how often, and so on and so forth. Market segmentation is a very useful concept in all areas of business. For instance, here at University of Ghana, we appreciate and practice market segmentation, even by looking at the way the courses are structured. These courses offer different courses, or University of Ghana offer different courses which are offered by students who have similar or the same academic background, career ambitions, analytical and conceptual skills, among many considerations. For instance, we can talk of various course areas like marketing, accounting, medicine, nursing, economics, sociology, and what have you. These are all based on the concept of market segmentation. So right from the onset, it's clear to you that the concept of market segmentation is useful and applicable in various sectors of the economy. Again, we can talk of market segmentation here at Legon in terms of how we structure or we've structured the undergraduate program. The master's program is structured differently, and same is the doctoral program, because of similarities in terms of needs, expectations, and so on and so forth. What then is market segmentation? We can define segmentation as the process of dividing a given market into different groups of similar consumers and selecting the most appropriate group or groups for the firm to serve. When you segment a market, you decide on which of these segments within a given market you are well placed to serve. So that becomes your target market, so to speak. Again, we can see market segmentation as a process of dividing potential market into distinct, the word is distinct group of consumers who have common needs or characteristics, and selecting one or more segments to target with, of course, distinct marketing mix or offer. Once you select, you are able to target the selected market with a distinct offer. In the past, when competition was less in many industries, mass marketing was the order of the day. In other words, consumers were comfortable with generic products without focusing on the various differences or unique benefits that can be offered or highlighted by the firms. But we've come a long way. There's competition all over the place, and marketers have become discerning, demanding, challenging, and so on. Hence, the need for businesses to even embrace the concept of market segmentation in their decision making. This also has to do with taste and preferences. I mean, we have different tastes and preferences. Even when it comes to food items, we have twins, but they may have differences in terms of what food they like and so on and so forth. The truth is that the marketplace is made up of people with unique expectation, demands, preferences, characteristics, income, and what have you. Once the marketplace is not uniform in terms of these factors, businesses or marketers, for that matter, prudent businesses, must continue to practice market segmentation. It is useful to note that as an individual, or an individual can be considered a market segment, because the reality is that we are all unique, like I pointed out a few seconds ago. But we don't only focus on this uniqueness. It has to be meaningful in terms of deployment of resources and marketing mix element. So in other words, it's not all the differences that we need to pay attention to. Those that are important to the target market, we can segment the market based on that. Because even if you take the distance education manual, if you are to ask students of their preferences in terms of the color that the manual should be produced or should come, the form in which it should come, you're likely to have people mentioning all sorts of colors. But what difference will it make? It will not change anything. So although these differences can be there, that will not be a good basis for segmenting market. I mean, the basis for segmenting market should be one that is grounded on good reasoning and proper market customer expectations. For every market, there's almost always some diversity among consumers. According to Portler, these groups may differ in what they want in a product, the resources they have to make purchases, attitudes towards buying, and buying practices. All these areas are basis for differentiation, and therefore market segmentation can be done based on these factors. But like I said, where these differences are insignificant, the word is insignificant, the marketer may serve these customers with a single marketing mix. There may be differences, but if the differences are not significant, the marketer reasonably will choose to serve this segment with a single marketing mix. Notwithstanding what we've just said, you realize from experience that in some other markets or in some cultures or other economies or jurisdictions, customers are unwilling to make the compromise necessitated by a single marketing mix. In other words, they are concerned about the minor differences in brands and so on. Yeah, especially markets that have become a bit sophisticated, where they have access to variety and so on and so forth. As a result, in these segments or jurisdiction, the segments must be targeted individually, and alternative marketing mixes are required to reach them. We can also explain these differences in customers' response to a marketing mix as due to differences that customers display in buying habits. Customers have different buying habits in the usage of products or services, or in reasons for buying, among other factors. Again, this can be a source of segmentation. Marketers, of course, take all these factors in designing their marketing mixes. But the reality, however, is that marketers cannot always design separate marketing mix for every customer or customer groups. Now, having explained what we mean by market segmentation, it's important that we look at some benefits of market segmentation. There are several, but we can talk about 3 or 4. We are saying that segmentation as a principle in marketing or business is useful because segmentation is based on consumer needs. But the very details of the marketing construct, everything should be based on consumer needs. And market segmentation provides a platform for identifying the unique needs of different customer groups. So that is 1. Segmentation is based on unique consumer needs. 2, segmentation leads to increased sales. Sales is an important part in business. I mean, that's perhaps the most important as far as the exchange relationship is concerned, because organizations need to make some revenue to sustain or to justify their existence. So segmentation is critical in terms of having the potential, if well carried out, leading to increased sales for the business. Again, segmentation is useful because it enables marketing activities to be focused. Where there's no segmentation, we are likely to be all over the place, and where we think one jacket fits all strategy, we adopt one jacket fits all strategy. But segmentation will allow us to focus on the details or the preferences of each segment or customer groupings. This can manifest in the form of the deployment of the elements of the marketing mix in the area of product decision, pricing decision, place or distribution decision or strategies. We can talk of the people element that has to be considered in our quest to satisfy customers, and the issue of physical evidence and people. So segmentation is useful in this regard. Number 4 benefit that we can talk about is that segmentation enables firms to compete more effectively. Of course, where there's competition, the firm that is making use of segmentation principles are likely to hit the responsive chord of their target market with tailor-made goods and so on and so forth. Now that the world has become a global village, consumers becoming more discerning, having several alternatives to choose from, with generally increase in disposable incomes and all that, improvement in transportation, and consumers have increased choice. And the only way to compete effectively is to imbibe and practice market segmentation. For instance, A new firm with very limited human and financial resources might compete very effectively in just one or two small market segments. In other words, the firm can focus its resources based on a segment that it has chosen to serve, instead of competing in other segments where where the firm has no advantage. Number 5, in terms of benefits, we can talk about the fact that segmentation satisfies the customer's needs to be different. The need for uniqueness, if you look at Maslow hierarchy of needs, they need to be different. It's a human need, and through the medium of goods and services, we can help customers satisfy this need. And it's possible through market segmentation. The degree of difference or uniqueness that individual consumers may seek in their product and consumption-related behavior may vary from individual to individual and from culture to culture. Some cultures, they demand so much. They need to be very different, need to be unique, is that high. In some other cultures, especially the Asian countries, they tend to believe in the communal ownership of things, and therefore not always looking for differences in terms of what marketers can offer. But in the Americas and other neighboring states or countries, the need to stand out has always been high on the human need agenda, and therefore these jurisdictions, you see a variety of products in virtually all product categories or industries.